the massive opportunity for entrepreneurs who can do this one thing. Welcome to today's episode. Look, it is not looking that exciting out there in the world at the moment. I checked out the news and they were discussing the problem that car makers are just becoming aware of, and that is that China, for whatever reason, has decided to dramatically decrease the amount of magnesium that it is producing. Now, this in itself, who cares? Whatever, magnesium. But magnesium gets used in aluminium, and aluminium gets used in car making, and now there's not enough magnesium to continue car production. And we're starting to run into the snowballing effects of the last 18 months, the choices that have been made, and that those choices have consequences. There was a decision made, and the consequence may not show up immediately. It might take 6 months, it might take 12 months, it might even take 18 months. And maybe we're not even at peak consequence yet, but we're beginning to see the problems. We've also got Evergrande. I mean, maybe the Chinese government's going to contain this. I don't know. Maybe they're going to bail them out. I don't know. But that represents a problem. We've got magnesium. We've got Evergrande. We've got government spending, printing money, but not as much production. So what do you get when you have a lot of money and not much production? Well, interestingly, we're seeing asset bubbles. That is the curious thing. Like, housing prices, at least here in Australia, is shooting up. I don't know how they are where you are, but it's like, whoa, what's going on here? A lot of growth in housing prices. But our real difficulty is in production. That decreased production. A lot of people have either been put out of work because their sectors got affected by COVID, or this interesting name that I ran into, the Great Resignation. 40% of people saying, you know what? I don't want to do this work anymore. I'm not happy. I don't want to be part of this. I want something that is more than just a paycheck. And you guys aren't doing that. So I'm going to quit. Go find what's calling to me. So we're presented with decreasing labor forces. We've got issues around supply of raw materials leading to problems in production. Hey, got my daughter joining me here. You want to say hi? So it's looking a little grim. And what this is going to mean is that most likely, your ability to operate your business at 100% capacity is at significant risk. Like, if you can pull off 80% of previous production, you're doing really well. 90%, excellent. 100%, like, you're in the elite realms if you can just operate back at how you were pre-COVID. But more than likely, you're at 50 or 40 or 60%. Now, this means problems for many people because their fixed costs of business are set, and therefore the profit comes in that last 20%. You know, you start working at 80% versus 100%, that's where your profit is. So a lot of businesses are going to go under. A lot of businesses are going to struggle just because of these factors. But what is that one thing? What is this one opportunity? Well, imagine that you had a secret weapon, a secret way of not just getting to 100%, but maybe getting to 150%. 200%. Now, you might say, hey, Tom, this is ridiculous, man. It's called 100%. Because that's 100% of what we can do. That's why it's 100%. This idea of yours that you can get 150% out of a business that was previously doing 100%, you know, if they could have got 150, then they would have done that. What about 200%, 250%, 300%, 3 times as much production? And remember, if break even is at 80% and you were happy to hit 100 and you're like, I'll take 20%. But now there's a way to get 200, 250, 300% out of your team. Guess what? This might become critical if you can't even get team members. So you need to get more value out of your team members. You need them to stop making so many mistakes. You need them to step up and do the work in a time frame that makes sense. And suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I'm interested. Are you interested in this? Do you think it's going to come from an incremental improvement where you go from 101, 102, 103%? No. You're going to need a transformational impact. Just like my daughter here, making a transformational impact on this video. Thanks, Philippa. Guess what it is? Do you know what it is? You don't know what it is. Would you like to know? Oh, you don't want to know what it is? Would you like to be hungry? Just make me hungry, Dad. Is that what you're up to? No? You see, if you don't want to be hungry and your customers don't want to be hungry and no one really wants to be hungry, then you should be paying attention for what this transformational event is. Guess what? You got to have a way to extract a whole lot more out of your existing resources. You got to have a way to get more out of your team. You got to have a way to work around and reroute the difficulties that will be inevitable in the coming months and years. Like this recovery is going to take longer. Remember that you have to go more than 100% just to begin to impact the backlog. You're at 1.1, 110%. It's going to take you a long time to get back to equal. So 150, 200, 300% production. The only way you're going to get this is a new way to run your team. A new way to do business. And finally, after hearing about it for so long, 1986 E-Myth, 1995 Work the System. You know you're meant to run systems. The problem has been it's been damn hard to work out how to do them. But if you want to know how to do them, if you want to know how to get 300% productivity, if you want to know how to run your team lean and fast so that you can bring your customers a greater experience, greater service, and actually have food on your table and on their table, then head over to systemio.dev where you can learn about the power of systems to create results. All right, it's been a lot of fun making this video. Do you want to say bye? No, nothing. Nothing from my daughter. All right, super fun. All right, catch you guys soon as we've continued this journey into systems creating results.